Lasting liability. A bombshell dropped in the House of Assembly today. Coming up, find out who's liable for the fire at Bamsey.
Police are investigating the discovery of a body burnt beyond recognition in this home here in the Kemp Road area. I'm LaDawn Davis, and I'll have that story coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
And a verdict handed down today in the Folks trial. We're on top of this news. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
The male dormitory of the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Science Institute continues. Good evening, everyone. I'm Charisma Robinson.
And I'm Chris Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, announced in the House today that the building was never insured and the contractor is liable for all of the damages. This after the building was destroyed by fire earlier this year. This caused a heated debate from members opposite, who during Monday's session of the House called on the government to, in their words, come clean on the matters concerning Bamsey. Janae Noel Ferguson is following House proceedings.
Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis laid out all of the documents in the House of Assembly Wednesday on the controversy surrounding the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Science Institute, admitting that the contractor was in breach of the contract by not presenting an insurance certificate. And this, he confirmed, went unchecked by the Ministry of Works.
What the contractor did provide was only a quotation of costs from Royal Star Assurance for all risk insurance for a 6-month period from commencement of the project.
Now, the Works Minister contends that his ministry is now trying to determine who gave the advance mobilization payment for construction without the necessary documents, what intervention, if any, was made, and why the contract was allowed to continue without this vital requirement.
There was no reason to suppose that such an administrative error would be missed for so long. Beyond that, the public fully and rightly expects all government officials to be above reproach in protecting the public's interests.
The Deputy Prime Minister also tabled documents that showed the contractor, operating under Paradigm Construction, received some $2.6 million, or 20% of the building's total cost.
Estimates in hand target the reconstruction costs at around $5.5 million. The increased cost takes into consideration the cost to reconfigure the units, which has now been recommended, from single to double occupancy.
He also tabled documents from the contract that included the insurance quote, which he verified the contractor is now liable for.
Consequently, the net cost to government will be the cost of reconstruction less the expenditure for the structure destroyed by fire. That is to say, just under $3 million.
Opposition members charged that the Deputy Prime Minister misled the House by initially stating that the insurance had lapsed. They also allege that the instances of fraud are reportedly taking place within the Ministry of Works.
If fraudulent acts have been committed, and it would appear that it has, I believe that it requires a police investigation. Secondly, since the member has misled this House, he should do the honorable thing. Mr. Speaker, this is a sad day in the Parliament of the Bahamas.
But for the act of an arsonist, the issue of this insurance would never have arisen. Would never have arisen.
And you notice they're talking about that.
Yeah, I know. But I also say, Mr. Speaker, and so the member ought to check to see what was occurring under his watch.
Meanwhile, Chair of the Public Accounts Committee Hubert Chipman confirmed an investigation will take place on the Bamsey contracts. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Meanwhile, the nation's leader, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, cautioned opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis on his request for an investigation of all BAMSI contracts. He says the Public Accounts Committee is the route they should take.
If there is any other action to be taken, that action should be taken by a duly constituted committee of the House of Assembly that you have empowered, Mr. Speaker, with powers to send for persons and papers. And they would be able to cause anyone to come before them, answer any questions they ask, produce any documents they want, Mr. Speaker. If they feel there are discrepancies, inaccuracies, even fraudulent manifestations, they have the power to send for persons and papers, and they have the majority of the committee. It is that committee we used to expose one of the grandest display of profligacy, an uncontrolled expenditure on the part of the opposition when they were the government. We used it effectively when someone who held a deputy prime minister's position in their government was connected by shareholding to the company that got the contract. And they're on here talking about cronyism.
On Monday, we told you that a bomb scare took place during the renaming ceremony of Carmichael Primary School, attended by the Prime Minister and the Governor General. While he did not speak directly to the matter in the House today, the Prime Minister suggested that something had happened. He also sent out this warning to parliamentarians.
We have to be careful as leaders when we create public opinion that is interpreted by our supporters, who may not be as discerning and disciplined as us, and that interpretation could manifest itself in violence being inflicted. I wish I could speak about something personally going on in my life as Prime Minister. I don't want to say about it now because it has a matter of national security. And why you see more police around me. But the point is, Mr. Speaker, there is a direct link between utterance in this House of Assembly and manifestation on the part of people who support us.
Still on news from Parliament, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, began debate on the Immigration Amendment Bill. The amendment was tabled 2 weeks ago, was withdrawn, and a new bill was presented. Mitchell outlined a number of clauses in the bill which seeks to allow persons not covered by the Constitution to apply for a belongers permit.
This policy has nothing to do with citizenship. It's not about citizenship. So that is absolutely wrong. Secondly, the fact is, all of the remedies are available in law today in the Immigration Act. All of them. So there's no new remedy here or no change in policy. This is only about facilitating legal migration to the Bahamas.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, small and medium-sized businesses learning more about value-added tax ahead of their filing deadline.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Shell Quality Fuels.